Hi there, my name is Callum Thompson. I'm an academic developer for learning technologies here at the University of Salford, and in this short video I'm going to discuss a service that we have a subscription for at the university called Bob, or Box of Broadcasts. Now, some will have heard of Bob, others might not have. It's a really powerful tool because essentially it allows us to capture lots and lots of content from television, and it gives us access, or radio as well, and it gives us access to a huge archive of resource which we can use in learning and teaching. So first of all, what is Bob? Bob is an online off-air recording service. So if anyone has used off-air recording services in the past, where perhaps you've seen something coming up in the Radio Times and thought, I'd really like to use that in my teaching, and then you would get in touch with a technician and request that it's recorded, they would capture it, stick it on a DVD for you, make sure it's copyright cleared for use for educational purposes, register it, etc., and then pass it back to you, and then you can use that in the classroom. So what Bob does is essentially does that job with lots of other bits and pieces that make it really open and accessible, and it sticks it all online into a YouTube style website, so it makes it really easy to use and accessible for people. As I mentioned, it captures TV and radio shows, and it will capture anything from any of the basically the free to view or free to air shows or channels and stations which are available. You can capture anything from the last 7 days, so anything at all that's been on any free to view TV show or radio station in the last 7 days, you can go onto Bob, and as I'll show in a second, search through the program listings and choose to capture them, and it captures it into your account. You can also, if perhaps you're going on holiday, you could set to capture in the future as well, up to 7 days. So if there's something that you know is coming up next Wednesday, for example, then you could go on and set that to record, and then when you come back from holiday, it will be available for you in your account to share. Now, 7 days is great, and it captures everything for 7 days, either side. However, that could almost be restricting in a way, because there might be something a year ago that you want to try and find and access and use. Now, anything that's recorded by any user on Bob is stored within an archive, and you are able to search that archive and find programs and use them as well. So if, for example, there was an episode of Panorama which was on last year, you watched it, thought that's great, it'd be great to use that in my teaching, and then forgot about it, you now come back round to the lecture and you think, there was that Panorama show that would be really good. If you go onto Bob and search for it, chances are it might be there, and that someone's thought as well, that'd be good for teaching, and captured that, in which case that's available for you to use as well. So a huge archive of content that we can access, and also we can capture anything we want in the last 7 days, or we can set to capture everything in the next 7 days. When it comes to sharing these videos, we are able to embed or link to the videos, a bit like YouTube videos as well. Students just have to log in to view them, and they, again, just log in the same way using their university credentials. So you might want to share videos on Blackboard for people to watch in advance of classes, or as part of projects, get some videos together which people can watch. You might want to show the video in the classroom as well, in which case you probably don't want to show a 2-hour documentary, for example. You perhaps just want a clip. Bob has a really easy way of creating short clips from videos. So if there's a 30-second part of a documentary you want to show in a lecture and then discuss that, then you can go into Bob and create this individual video, which is just a short clip of their using a very easy to use timeline tool that they have. So lots of tools there. This is just the main features of Bob, if you like. We'll now go onto the website and have a look at that, and I'll show you how to get logged in and do some of the main tasks that we've discussed here. So, to get to Bob, I'm just going to go into my web browser, and if I pull up here, I've actually got the Bob website up already. It's bobnational.net. If you Google Box of Broadcasts, then it will come up as the top result on the search engine, but if you want to save or bookmark this address, then it's bobnational.net. Once you get to the page, you can see that we've got this front page where there's some bits of social media streaming in, etc. The bit that we're really interested in, though, are these options here, where we can view My Bob, which is your account page where you can view stored videos and playlists that you've developed. There's the program guide where we can capture videos, which I'll show you in a second, and the search function for the archive. The first thing you want to do though to be able to access all of this is log in. Now I'm going to log in just now. To make you aware, when you log in, what you'll need to do is the first time you log in, it will ask you to enter your email address just to verify your account basically, and make sure that you are a member of staff at the university. You'll then need to select the institution which you are logging in from. Now when you search for University of Salford, there's actually two options come up. One's for an Athens login, which is through a library, and one is a network login. Now I would recommend using the network login because that will you just use your standard username and password that you used to log onto your computer to log in there. Now I've already logged in, so it saved a lot of my details here, but if you select the University of Salford network login, it will ask you to put in your University of Salford username and password, and that will get you logged in to your account. So if I just click on here, once you're logged in, the only real difference on the page that you get to is that it shows a log out button instead of a login. So that's how we know that we've successfully logged in. So as I mentioned, we've got three options: My Bob, Program Guide and Search. I'm going to look at Program Guide and Search first, and then we'll come back to My Bob because this is where we store all of our videos and where we can get access to the links for them. But to do that, we need to populate it with some content. So if I select Program Guide first, this is if we want to capture something in the past 7 days or set to capture something in the next 7 days, this is where we can do that. So if I click on there, we can see that we have the current TV listings, and it takes me to the point in time that I'm at. So this is Thursday at 10:30. If I want to move around and view different times on this day, or view different channels, which you can see scrolling down the side here, I quite simply click and drag on this panel. So it's like a big sheet of glass that we move around to look at these. So if I drag down, I can see we've got BBC4, Dave, More 4, all the Freeview channels are there. If I think perhaps there was something good on Tuesday's lunchtime news that I'd like to capture, then what I would do is click on the Tuesday tab at the top here, going back the way to Tuesday the 28th, and I can see that we have programs popping up here from Tuesday. So let's have a look through, and here we have the lunchtime news, BBC News at 1. If I want to capture that, then what I would do is I just click on there, the BBC News at 1, and it brings up a panel at the bottom here, which allows me to either view the video or add to a playlist. So if I want to just add to a playlist, which will save it into my account, I click add to playlist. I've actually got a playlist here called News already, and I'm going to add the recording to a playlist. If I want to create a new playlist, I just type in here and click create here instead, and it will save it to a new playlist. So I'm going to click add record to playlist, and that is now stored in my account, and when I go to My Bob and look at that playlist, the video is there. You can also go in and just view the video if you want to. So if I click on view, that will take me to the standard Bob view of the video. So here I can see that I've got my YouTube style layout of the video. If I click play, it plays within this window. It usually captures around 60 seconds before the start of the TV show, just to make sure it gets everything. And I have some options here that I'm going to come back and look at shortly. I'm just going to go back into my program guide just now. So that's how I've captured a show which has been on, and I was able to save that straight to a playlist. Now the reason I could save that straight to a playlist is because it has been recorded already by someone. Okay, so someone else has thought, I want to capture the news to use in my classroom, and that means that when I click on that, it's just got an add to playlist option. The subtle way that you can tell what's been recorded already and what is still to be captured and recorded is that in green, everything in green has already been recorded, so anything I click on in green I can just add to a playlist. However, if I thought, let's say I'm doing maths and there was a particularly good conundrum in Countdown, then I would perhaps click on Countdown here to record this. Now Countdown isn't highlighted in green, it's in this more bluey grey colour, which means I need to request that that's recorded. So it gives me some details of when it was on, and I can request the program there. So if I click on request, what it will tell me is I can request up to 5 shows a day, and this is really just to manage the load that Bob has to deal with. If I click on this, then it will allow me to confirm it, and when I click confirm, it now basically saves that, and I can see that it's highlighted in red, which means that it's going to be processed and saved. Now, Bob is a national service. Lots of institutions have this, and it means that they process a lot of data. So it can take up to about 12 hours for this to actually become available. So if you want to plan ahead for using these, maybe if there's something you want to use the next day, make sure it's done overnight, and so that it gets into that queue and gets processed. However, as soon as it is highlighted red, then I can go on and I can add that to a playlist and start to build it into my account as well. So that video will become available probably in 12 hours. If I click on view, then yes, it says will be available to stream within 12 hours. So that is how I capture content which has been on in the last 7 days through the program guide. If I want to capture something that's on the next 7 days, then all I would do is go on to perhaps on Monday, and let's say I wanted to capture this Homes Under the Hammer program. All I would do is click on Homes Under the Hammer. Similar to capturing something that's not been recorded already, I would click Request Program. That would save my request, and when Monday comes around and that shows on TV, it will capture that program for me. There will then be a short delay until that becomes available as well. I'm not sure actually how long it takes if it's in the future, but I would recommend erring on the side of caution and maybe not request something to be recorded and then want to use it immediately in class straight after. It might not have rendered by that point. So if I request that program, I'm not going to do that now, then I can make that through and it will become available on my account when it comes round. Also, when I click request, this is an interesting option where I was demonstrating just now how you would request something in the future, but it's quite clever in that it's picked up that Homes Under the Hammer is actually a repeat and it's already been recorded, so that's actually available for me, and I can select that video and then it will show me the episode that's going to air but recorded from a previous showing of it. Okay, so that's the program guide and the various bits and pieces you can do on there. Okay, so we've looked at how we can capture, well, how we can save something that's been captured already in the past, how we can request that something is captured that's been on in the past, how we can set something which is going to come on to capture, and how Bob will pick up if that's a repeat and then direct us to a recording that's already available if we want. We then have the option to search back in the archive for content which is perhaps more than 7 days old. And to do that, we use this search function. Okay, so I'm going to click on search, and I can choose programs or clips or playlists I want to search for. So this is user-generated playlists that might have a name such as news or construction or cooking or something like that. But there's also programs as well. So let's say that I'm quite interested in cooking, or I want to have a discussion about cooking in the classroom. Then what I can search for is MasterChef and search for that. And this now goes back into the archive that Bob has, and it searches through all of the content that has been saved for MasterChef. So all of the MasterChefs that are available, I can see there's about 10 pages here for this. In fact, there's probably a lot more than that, where we have copies of or episodes of MasterChef from 2012, going back and looking at these, 2013, all the way back. So we can start to look into there, and we can search within dates as well. So there's some options for our search down the side here, where we can say, you know, we want something that's available right now. We want to go in and look at things that have only been on in the last 4 weeks. So perhaps it was an episode that was on 3 weeks ago, and we can start to break down our search based on that. So I can now see that this from the 8th of April, which is more than a week ago, but it is available for me. And if I click on that, then it's available for me, and I can add this program to one of my playlists. So I'd simply go on, I've got a cooking shows playlist, add program to playlist, and I've now captured that. So the archive is very much dependent that someone has seen it fit to record the show in the past. But anything that has been recorded by a user is available. So if it's something that is likely to have been used in the classroom, the chances are it has been recorded at some point. So lots of content there to search through and lots of content to access. So that's how we find our videos, through the program guide and through search. There's also My Bob, which we'll look at now as well. Now, things that I've been requesting and searching for just now are stored in My Bob. So if I look at here, you can see that I have saved a couple of programs. So we've got Bargain Hunt, Sunday Politics and Countdown, which I've requested or recorded. So they're within there, and they'll be made available to me when they are ready. You can see that I've created a clip, which I'll show you how to do in a second, where I've created one from a MasterChef episode. But if I scroll down, then things that I've saved to playlists are available here as well. So I can see that I've got my various playlists. I've got my news playlist, which if I click on, we've got our various news programs which I've captured into that playlist, or in cooking shows I've been capturing some of MasterChef as well. So what I can do now is I can click on one of these videos and it will take me to the video, like I mentioned, a bit like YouTube, and from in here I can play this. So EastEnders is always on just before MasterChef, so it's caught just the end of that. I can then jump in and view that video there. Now, if I want to share this with students, then what I can do is I can embed, and embedding has the URL, so the web address of this, which you can send to students here. So if I click embed, then I can copy that page from there, and I could paste that into Blackboard to make available to students, or I could email it to students and ask them to watch in advance of the next class. It's also possible to embed the video within Blackboard as well, if you know how to do that. If you've ever embedded a YouTube video, you can pull up that similar script which you can paste in as a bit of HTML. If you don't know how to do that, it doesn't really matter, because it's probably better that they get on and watch it within it renders better if you go on and watch it within Bob. So you can either pick up the universal URL, which is the web address, or you can embed as code. So you can stick that into your Blackboard page. There's also an option to tweet it directly if you're a Twitter user and you want to send out to students. What we also have on this page is we have a transcription. Now this, as far as I know, isn't available for all shows. However, it does allow you to search through this transcription. So if I wanted to look for, let's say, knife, not found anything there. I'm not going to keep on searching through this, but it allows you to search the transcription for particular things that have been said, and then find the point in the video at which that is available. So it's a good little quick search thing to be able to find if you can't remember quite when someone was talking about something. We can also create a clip here as well. So if I wanted to create a clip of this video, let's say that halfway through there's a really good example of how to boil an egg. Then I could create this clip by clicking create clip under the video, and as I was saying, there's this dead easy to use timeline tool where you can drag out to the point at which you want the video to start and the point at which you want it to end. So I can see here clip start and clip end. So let's say that Greg had said something really interesting at this point, then I could drag to the start of Greg and drag to the end. And then create the clip. So I click save clip. You can see that that's about 49 seconds long. And now what I have is I have this 49-second clip, which is just Greg talking to one of these people. And that is saved into your My Bob account as well. So if you wanted to perhaps use this in a lecture, then all you would do is you can go back into My Bob, find your MasterChef clip, click embed, and then if you just copy that, paste it into your PowerPoint slide and click on it, it will open up Bob and you'll be able to view it within the lecture. Okay, so that is fundamentally the majority of the bits and pieces you might want to use with Bob as far as capturing TV, searching for TV that's archived, or again radio, and building clips out of that for use in the classroom, and how to share it with students as well. That's all I'm going to cover in this short video. If you have any questions about Bob at all, feel free to get in touch with myself or with a member of the digital skills team, or my colleague Amina Halal, and we'll be able to help you out with anything more advanced that you might want to do with Bob, or even if you're just finding anything that's in this video a little bit tricky. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I do recommend using Bob. There's lots of great stuff there.